night. Good night. Welcome. It's Katie from Peace and Fear Mom. I hope everyone is enjoying their beautiful evening. I hope everyone got to enjoy this gorgeous weather we had this weekend. Tonight I want to read a bit from the course I've been talking about. It's free right now through Yale, The Science of Happiness. It has so many great resources, videos, book recommendations, and one of them is The How of Happiness, A New Approach to Getting the Life You Want by Sonja Lyubomirsky. Definitely butchered that last name. But it's a great book, it's a great resource, and it gives just a lot of tools for cultivating happiness. And they're not proofy fads, they're science and data based. So they're reliable methods of cultivating happiness. So I wanted to read 2 pages from the book tonight. How to practice optimism. If cultivating optimism is a well-fitting strategy for you, you can begin to practice it today with one of the ideas below. Best possible selves diary. There are many ways to practice optimism, but the one that has been empirically shown to enhance well-being is the original best possible selves diary method. To try it out, sit in a quiet place and take 20 to 30 minutes to think about what you expect your life to be 1, 5, or 10 years from now. Visualize a future for yourself in which everything has turned out the way you wanted. You have tried your best, worked hard, and achieved all your goals. Now write down what you imagine. This writing exercise, in a sense, puts your optimistic muscles into practice. Even if thinking about the brightest future for yourself doesn't come naturally at first, it may get there with time and training. Amazing things can come about as a result of writing. William Faulkner reportedly once said, "I never know what I think about something until I read what I've written on it." You may discover new insights into yourself as you write about your future and your goals. Keeping a journal may be a way of cultivating patience and persistence. And then there's another suggestion where it says goals and sub-goals diary. A twist on the best possible selves diary is that as part of developing hopeful thinking, you identify your long-range goals and break them into sub-goals. For example, during the first session of your journal writing, you could describe how 5 years from now you'll be the owner of your own business. In future sessions, you could write about the steps you'll take to reach that point. Remember that there will be many steps or paths, not just one. If a discouraging or pessimistic thought comes to mind, how could I ever get the money? Pinpoint it and try to generate alternative scenarios or possible resolutions. One technique is to recall times in the past when you've been successful at something, to recognize the strengths or resources that you already have and will continue to develop, and allowing that to motivate and invigorate you. And then another suggestion is identifying barrier thoughts. Another strategy to increase optimistic thinking involves identifying automatic pessimistic thoughts. For example, you might put a penny in a jar every time you have a pessimistic thought. Then try to replace that thought with a more charitable or favorable point of view. For example, such spontaneous thoughts as, "I feel so stupid for giving the wrong advice to my office mate. He'll never ask me again to collaborate on a project. And ever since my relationship ended, I feel unlovable and appalling," are called barrier thoughts because they serve as barriers to optimism. Write down your barrier thoughts and then consider ways to reinterpret the situation. In the process, ask yourself questions like, what else could the situation or experience mean? Can anything good come from it? Does it represent any opportunities for me? What lessons can I learn and apply to the future? And did I develop any strengths as a result? Be sure to practice this exercise when you're in a neutral or positive mood and consider writing down your answers. This approach should prevent your reflections from devolving into circular, negatively biased ruminations. So just some suggestions, different things, different prompts to think about if you are already journaling in the morning or before bed. I believe in it. I think it's so helpful and so true as someone who has now started multiple businesses. I think that it can be so easy to go down that path, especially if you don't have people around you who are entrepreneurs, or maybe you didn't grow up with parents who had their own businesses. We'll make it about business tonight. It can just be really helpful. And it doesn't need to just be about business either. It could be about a different lifestyle choice you're making. Maybe you're making the choice to go vegan, or maybe you're making the decision to stop drinking and you don't necessarily have those people around you, which is common, right? Because if you did, you most likely wouldn't do those things anyway, or would maybe have thought about them earlier. I just think that those prompts are really helpful to think about whenever you start to go down the path of talking yourself out of something before it even begins, or just getting in your own way, because we all do that, especially with what's going on right now. I think we've all had our moments where we've made choices that are not aligned with our big picture goals, and it's okay. It's just a matter of identifying them and then pivoting. So I think that those questions in the book can be really helpful, and I'll add them in the comments afterwards so you have them to think about. Okay, so let's start our meditation tonight. So we're going to meditate for 5 minutes. Just a reminder for anyone joining us for the first time, we meditate to give our brain a bath, to get rid of any thoughts, ideas, feelings that aren't serving us, to reach a clearer state of mind, a more relaxed state of mind, maybe to sleep better, to be more responsive, less reactive. You can sit on your heels with bent knees. You can sit with your legs crossed. You can sit on a mat, wherever you're comfortable. I'm sitting on a chair. We're going to meditate for 5 minutes. Just a reminder, if you notice your mind wandering, if you feel distracted, if you feel compelled to do something, scratch something, just breathe into it and know that that's okay. Those thoughts will come and go. We cannot turn off our minds. They're programmed to think. Just breathe into it and focus on your breath. All right, so I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes. We'll welcome a nice deep breath in. And let's begin. I hope you all enjoyed tonight's session, tonight's meditation. As I said before, I'll add the prompts in the book to the comments. And as always, if there's anything that you'd like in terms of yoga or meditation or self-care, anything at all that's coming up as we continue on this journey, feel free to leave it in the comments or to send a message or to email me, katie@peaceandparamount.com. And I'm happy to curtail these to meet as many needs of the community as I can. Have a good evening.